All right. This one is interesting. Am I the asshole for being upset with my $150 engagement ring? You
That's
might as well
fine.
just give her a ring pop at that point. Let's be real, fam. $150?
Oh, damn.
Okay. My fiance is quite well off, and while I don't make as much as him, I certainly would not be struggling on my own. He rotates between a few very expensive watches that he wears to work, and while we have a good grasp of financial literacy, we aren't shy about spending for what's important in life. We openly share finances, so it isn't a secret. I know he isn't secretly in debt or any nonsense like that. The ring is nice, and I understand. Sorry, the ring is nice and understated, but more of a nice stacker than an engagement ring to show off. The stone, brackets, which I'm doubtful of being a diamond, is quite small. It is not an heirloom. When friends or family get engaged, there is always the excitement in sharing the news, and inevitably someone will ask to see the ring, and then everyone oohs over it as if it's a good time. When I showed mine, the mood just got awkward, and they feigned excitement just long enough until I was okay to change the topic. This is not a knock to them; they're just terrible liars. I would I would like to make it clear that I'm not expecting a 3-month salary ring or an over-the-top wedding. However, this is a piece I will be wearing daily for decades and is largely considered a symbol of his love. Brackets. I know not all feel this way, but we do, or at least I thought we did. But I don't really think that I'm out of line in thinking of this as a long-term investment piece, given the amount of wear it will see and the sentiment behind it. Surely it is worth more than a gaming console. It should be worth more than a gaming console. Am I the asshole here?
Those grammar's horrendous.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. She's not using commas here.
No.
No commas at all. I didn't see one comma.
My goodness.
No, but essentially, yeah, she's saying that I got a cheap ring and I'm kind of embarrassed by it.
What do you think? So they're engaged right now.
Yep.
Yeah. Check his wrists.
He's got the watches on. She said he rotates
those watches may be knockoffs.
Rolling, got me.
So we can't. That man may be a cheap man that walks with style. Those watches could be perfect knockoffs.
But he's got the money. He's got the money. She said that he's financially.
He got the money, but he could be frugal with his money and just rather show that I'm a man of certain means by not spending that money as well. Mm-hmm. So I don't. But the only thing I'd say is in a relationship, nobody wants to be embarrassed. I think that's what the public cheating and all that stuff is as well. Is that nobody wants to be in a state where other people are looking at them strange because of something in your relationship. Mm-hmm. So that's where the ring comes into. If you're gonna do a knockoff, do a knockoff that looks like your watch. Don't do a knockoff that looks crazy.
What do you mean knockoff that looks like your watch?
I'm assuming his watches are knockoff.
Let's assume they're not. Let's assume they're not.
Okay, then if it's not, then he's the complete asshole. Because why are you cheaping out on something that she's gonna be showing forever? Mm-hmm. She's gonna show your kids as well. She's gonna show her parents. That's a part of the excitement of the engagement, and that's the symbol of the engagement. And if that's something that's underwhelming, then that just puts a damper on the whole mood of the moment.
It's tough. It's tough because I see both parts. Because, I'm always somebody who believes, what is the purpose of a ring? Why do you even need a ring? Like, you and I are going to be together forever. The union is what's important. Why do you need something that symbolizes that to make this seem solid, right? What's solid is our actual connection, right? That's what I think.
I like that.
However, I constantly have this conversation with somebody who's very close to me about the importance of what a wedding ring is. And although I may not understand, it's important to her because it's something that she symbolizes as something of importance.
It's the engagement ring.
Yeah, like, I get it, but I'm talking about the ring in general.
Yeah.
Like the ring. So my thing is, if you had watches and everything that was real, because we're going off the real thing, why didn't you do that same due diligence and buy something of the same level at least for your significant other, right? That's number one. Number two is, if you know this person values this, why don't you value them by getting them something that they actually want, you know? So that's two. I think the third one is, you know, I think it's just respecting what they want, you know? If that's what they believe, because for me, I don't even think a wedding is important. I just want to get the signed contract, we're married, and then we're good to go, right? But if that's something that's important to her and it's her day to be a princess, you know, treat her like one. Like, give her what she wants. Like, this is her day to be what she always wanted to be, right? And I think it's important as a man to provide her that level of, you know, values. You know what I mean?
I hear you. And I also would say, you know, I'm calling cap on this story
Why?
because like the facts don't add up unless like this, like the facts are pointing towards this person's just cheap, right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't make any sense to me. Like if you're buying watches for yourself and you've been with this person for a long time, and you're financially stable, how are you spending $1.50 on the engagement ring? Like that's just, I could understand if it was like he spent like maybe 3-4 bills and then the person thinking that's a little bit low, but $150 to almost anybody is gonna be like, yo, this is not worthy of an engagement ring.
Can I interject for a second? You know, I don't think the story is like a lie, but I do think there's stuff missing.
Missing details. That's what I was gonna say.
He doesn't value a ring. Maybe he was doing other things for her.
That's exactly what I was
Maybe
gonna.
the honeymoon was
That's what I was
gonna
gonna lead into.
crazy,
This person has like, there's no reason given as to why he did this to you. You know, so just off of the blanket statement that she wrote, yeah, he would seem like an asshole. But let's say like she said it's not a family heirloom. That's another thing too to make note of. But let's say he just doesn't see the value of the expensive engagement, you know, engagement party or engagement ring or all that stuff. Maybe he just doesn't see the value of like, you know, the stuff that you were just mentioning, like the wedding, you know, like the ceremony and stuff like that. Like maybe this person's beliefs got in the way of the cost of the ring.
Yeah.
And maybe that was translated to you in a different way.
Possibly.
Or maybe it was directly translated to you verbally, but you chose not to describe it in the story here, right? So until I can get the missing context, it just doesn't seem legitimate that this would happen without any other context. You know what I mean? So I'm calling cap on this story, to be honest with you.
I don't think she would have wrote to this detail if this discussion's happened beforehand.
Well, she's writing it in the sense that she's 100% justified to be not the asshole, right?
No, but
and then the story is missing why he spent $150 on the engagement ring. Like she never once described why he did that. She just has these like thoughts in her mind of what this can do to her. Like the aftermath is what she's describing, not the actual reason. You know what I mean?
But this is someone typing with emotion that she didn't have that discussion yet.
It sounds very.
She went to Reddit first and said, "Let me think this out."
But it sounds
think what other people think. So when I'm approaching him, I have a little bit of more of a clear head on what I want to discuss with.
I understand that, but it sounds very selectively written to make herself seem favored in this story, you know? Because logically, it doesn't make sense that a person would be financially stable, buys expensive stuff for themselves, is with somebody and is committed to them to get married, and then cheaps out on the ring. Like there's something missing there.
Maybe the wedding ring was amazing. Like, you know, like maybe I think he, like to your point, was putting something in funds in other places.
Yeah, there's context missing.
And I do want to share one story. I knew somebody who was a manager of mine who got married when he was really young. You know, unlike these guys who are financially stable. He gave his partner a Amazon ring that was $10, right? And it was at a time where they were not that financially stable. And then till this day, even though he makes a large sum, he's great right now. He still wears that $10 Amazon ring. And I think that's beautiful because that ring symbolizes their unionship. It symbolizes like the value that the trust that they put in each other and all the years of commitment that they had, right? And I think the symbolism behind the ring is more important than the value of what the ring is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
the symbolism is the value. You know what I mean?
It depends on who it is.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And this could be the same case where this person is like trying to do something sentimental or something like that, but we just don't know because there's context missing in the story. In my opinion, you know, it just seems like this is so like, it sounds so like fabricated in a sense because there's no real cause to this issue. You know what I mean? It's just out of the blue, nowhere. Like, okay, if this person is just truly just a cheap piece of shit, then that's a huge red flag. You know, you need to consider, am I going to get married to this person? You know, like there's things like you need to have discussions about and not come to Reddit for, you know? So in this sense, I feel like she's capping, or I feel like the person is capping, but I'm going to just say in this that they're the asshole.
Yeah.
Who's the asshole?
the person who wrote the story.
The girl.
I don't think she's an asshole.
I'm choosing to say that because I assume there's
something
missing details.
But if you're saying that, if he has a like, the belief is he may be planning something else.
Or he may
not
have
know that
a
yet.
reason, is what I'm saying. It might not be a plan for something later. It
Yeah.
may be a reason that we just didn't hear. You know what I mean?
She may not know the reason yet. That's why I said
In that
that.
sense, yeah. Then she would be justified in the
Yeah.
story. If what she's
just trying
saying,
to have a group discussion right now of what do you guys think could be the reason for him doing this.
if we're taking her word as
Yeah.
fact, then yes, she's 100% justified to feel the way she
Mhm.
feels. But just reading her story, it doesn't seem like that would be something that would happen in reality. Is what I'm trying to say.
People that feel embarrassed, they do different things and they try to get different people's input. If you are announced that you guys are engaged and then the ring comes and then you have to show your family something now
Mhm.
because they know that all this was being planned,
Mhm.
and then you're embarrassed by this, they're embarrassed by the moment that you show because they want to switch subject real quick, but they, out of respect for her, they stayed on it
Mhm.
until she was ready to talk about something else.
I'm not
Is
saying
that a
that.
new table? Oh, what type of, what is that table?
But
It's-
my thing is more so like I don't disagree with the outcome is a fact. I'm saying what led to this. You're missing the points that led to this. You know, like
Mhm.
why is this person financially stable and then choosing to cheap out on the ring? If she truly doesn't know, then she needs to find out. And if she does know and she chose to not share this in the story, then she's selectively making herself seem like the person who's not the asshole. So to summarize kind of what we were discussing here, the update in the post said that they had a discussion afterwards and it led to an argument about the ring being too or less expensive than it should be, and then they ended up breaking up the relationship and they went their separate ways. So I guess the guy truly was a cheap guy, and that led to them breaking up.
I respect it.
Respectable.
Respect who?
I respect the guy.
Respect the girl. He brought it to his face that, yo, you're not gonna stand on business? And he said, I am. And they said, all right, we out.
That's
Yeah,
wrong.
how you
That's
can
wrong.
respect the guy?
I was
for
playing.
cheating
I was
out?
playing.
Okay.
He was a cheap guy. Don't get me wrong. We're gonna wrap up now. I'm one of the most frugal people, but when it comes to certain things, I think you have to spend the money on. You have to or you just that is something that she always wanted, and if you don't provide it to her in the format that she wants, I think you're doing her an injustice by lowering her value of that experience. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just like certain people are just suckers. Like, if you don't want to get married, say you don't get married. Why waste people's time?
That is true.
Why go through every group of people's emotions you're affecting right now?
Yeah.
Just say,
For
nah,
what?
I'm not trying to get married. Like, how hard is it to just be like, no, I don't want to marry you?
Nah, man,
No, he wants to get married, but he probably didn't want to. No, he didn't want to get married.
Didn't want to
He
get
wanted
married.
Yeah. If
The
he
first argument about the ring, he was like, all right, we're out.
No, people are suckers.
Crazy.
Oh,